I just realized why people have been kitbashing this into a Judiciar. Holy cow. This sword, that's very similar to the type of sword that a Judiciar wields. I look at this and I see a Chief Librarian, but somebody else sees the bits and realizes, man, I could do something else with it. And that is why I love kitbashing. I did it again. I did it again. Guys, every time I go to my local hobby store, shout out to Mayhem Comics and Collectibles in West Des Moines, Iowa. I've really been digging these individual characters lately. I don't have a lot of time on my hands these days, so being able to buy something and in a relatively short period of time complete it is kind of cool. I've got a combat patrol and a spearhead and some other big things that I need to paint. I need to build first before I paint them. Who am I kidding? And so it's nice to just have something a little bit easier. And I know for those of you AOS fans, you might be disappointed again, but we are going to be converting this guy into something very special. So as many of you probably already know by now, I do my own custom Blood Angels successor chapter, the Gilded Skulls. And since they are not the actual Blood Angels, it feels kind of weird to use the characters for the Blood Angels, like Dante, Lamartis, or one of those characters, of course, also being Mephiston. I think you can see where this is going. I've heard of somebody else doing this sort of thing too, creating your own character that fills the same role as that character, specific to your successor chapter. And I saw this guy, and I'm like, that right there is my Chief Librarian. So this guy is going to become Chief Librarian of the Gilded Skulls, my own custom Blood Angels successor chapter. By the way, if you'd like to see some lore videos about my custom chapters, because I created one for Blood Angels and Death Guard, let me know, and I might add some content like that here to the channel if there's an interest in it. So I've got quite a few bits here that we're going to be adding to this guy, and we're going to carefully select a few things to remove. Overall, though, he's a very good fit, and I don't want to change too much about the model, but we'll see how it goes. We gotta get in there first step before we even judge things. All right. I feel like most people who get into Warhammer wind up playing Space Marines, or maybe at least start with Space Marines first. I don't know. You let me know in the comments if you started with something else. I'm sure there's plenty of people who also started with Tyranids. I know my son did. Space Marines are fun, though, because, well, they come in all sorts of different flavors. Each chapter has their own personality. You can kind of gravitate toward the one that you like the best. And of course, there is the option to go your own way and make something that's just yours. With Space Marines, they kind of feel like a blank canvas when you do that, in my opinion. You can just decide everything from the ground up. You can even get really wacky with it and come up with some really interesting ideas for Space Marine chapters. It's a core part of the game and the hobby, and that's part of the reason why I like Warhammer. You can customize it, make it what you want, tell the stories that you want to tell. There's something cool about that. Honestly, the first thing that I usually latch onto when I'm coming up with a custom chapter is just the aesthetics. Sometimes even the name comes first, and then I go from there. I knew I wanted to do Blood Angels, but there were some aspects of the Blood Angels that I wasn't keen on, particularly just with their armor, specifically the colors of their helmets for close support and heavy support. Yellow and red go well together, but I preferred to use a different color scheme. And since I was doing that, I thought, why the heck not? Why don't I come up with my own custom chapter? So then there's an explanation for why they look different. It does mean that I can't use any of the Blood Angels shoulder pads. I mean, I guess I could, but all the ones I get in combat patrols and so forth, I don't typically wind up using, sadly, because they have their own heraldry. I'll show that off here in a little bit. Now, I'm really wondering how I'm supposed to paint this dude's legs, because they're there. I mean, you can see them, I can see them, and then they get, like, covered up. Like, I don't know, can you see his legs in there? But kind of makes me, like, there's a part of me that really wants to just go with this and then prime this separately and attach it later, just so I can paint those legs. Am I gonna do that? I might be doing that. All right, we got our Tamiya Extra Thin, if you know, you know. And this actually brings us to the first place where we need to make some modifications. This dude has some stuff hanging from chains here, which is totally cool. And an hourglass isn't totally out of place. I think I've seen somebody turn this guy into a judiciar, and so the hourglass makes a lot of sense there, but for a librarian, not so much. And so I would like to place that with something else, and since they are the Gilded Skulls, what better than a skull on a chain? It's also got a little blood droplet on its head, which you can't see very well on camera. So that means we're gonna have to go in here and we're gonna have to hack away at this. It can't be salvaged, sadly. It really kind of makes me mad because an hourglass piece like this could actually be very useful. If I could snip that off, I could take this and put it on a judiciar, for example. Something like that, a little bit like that is hard to find. I don't like the idea of wasting bits when I don't have to, but sadly here I kind of have to, guys. Oh my gosh. Emperor, forgive me. Or Sigmar, forgive me. I don't know what we're doing right now. Okay, and that's a very rough first go at it, and so the hobby knife is going to be necessary at this stage. And in fact, I think I'm even going to swap out the blade. Okay, we've got a slightly different blade shape here that we can use to more push and scrape away those little bits of plastic. Still can't believe I got this thing at the dollar store. If you're in the States, Dollar Tree. $1.25. It comes with like 6 blades. I can tell that regular blade I've been using is dull because this is cutting through this very easily, so I need to be very careful not to go too far with it. Obviously, this is still going to get covered up, so it doesn't have to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, okay. And a little of the Tamiya Extra Thin can smooth out any of the rough scrapes, as long as we don't go over too many of the details. But yeah, that's pretty good. And like I said, it's going to be pretty well covered up. Now I just have to decide whether I want the chain to keep the 3D printed chain and attach it there, or remove the 3D printed chain so that it sits right there. And I think I like that position better. So we'll just have to snap off this little bit of chain. Apparently not. Apparently it doesn't want to go easy. Could have been bad there, but hey, we got it. And Bob Smith Industries MaxiCure and InstaSet is what I recommend for attaching any resin bits to plastic. It works better than anything I've tried. Thanks to the guy who originally recommended this to me in my comments. So we've got that lined up, and now we just need to add a little bit of the InstaSet, and that glue will be hardened. Okay, and that's our first major swap. Is that a major swap, or our first swap of the kitbash conversion thing? There's also this little sort of square diamond-shaped piece here, and then this thigh armor. And I'm debating on the thigh armor, but that little square piece, I'm not going to scrape it off, but I can just add something on top of it, and that'll make it look a little more Blood Angels-y. I don't know how well you can see it, but I have this tiny little blood vial, which I can literally just drop right on there. And we've got that covered up without really having to do any plastic surgery whatsoever. All right, and I think I figured out a solution for this thigh armor. The majority of the 3D printed bits I use for Blood Angels come from Crimson Lords, and they have these nice little greave pieces. And this, yeah, it fits almost perfectly over that right there. There's this little bit sticking out, but I don't mind that, actually. I kind of like that aesthetic. Now, I am going to save this until I've got it fully assembled because there might be other pieces in the way, but I'll check and make sure. But yeah, that's going to go right there. Oh, okay. Yeah, even just dry fitting that, I think it's going to be fine. Okay, yeah, that kind of has to go on. Okay, I was hoping I could leave it for last, but I cannot. Okay, and we've come to a decision point here with this cape, because this cape is badass, and quite frankly, I don't want to get rid of it. But I do have to fit shoulder pads on here, and I think it's really hard to tell what I'm looking at. In fact, I think I need to look at the art on the box. Okay. So yeah, it does look like this is fur and feathers here, and this would be completely covering up the shoulder pad, which I have a Primaris shoulder pad that I may have cannibalized in anticipation of this project. Thing is, I would have to remove a significant portion of that there just to fit this in, and there's no guarantee that it even fits. It's a very tight spot, giggity. And so, I don't know, maybe we just ignore it, and I can give this back to the guy I stole it from. And then it's just a matter of getting my own custom chapter shoulder pad on that left shoulder, which a little bit of trimming right there will make that really easy. In fact, we'll go ahead and do that now. Oh, boy, like butter, I've got to be careful. All right, and it looks like that is going to work. Well, I mean, once I have it glued on, it's, you know what I mean. That said, I did want to play around with this arm and honestly switch it out, because what we're working with here is just a pointing hand, and this armor I'd have to figure out how to replace that anyway. So I figured this would be a great time to bring in another 3D print with some witch fire. Granted, he's going to look a little bit different from Mephiston, who usually has a plasma pistol, right? Whatever. We're not going to worry about the details. He doesn't have to be exactly like him. And so we've got to make room for this arm to fit in there. So we're going to have to do a little bit more carving and get some of the hard part done here. As much done with the clippers as you can, and then come in with the hobby knife. That's my recommendation. And the shoulder pad is going to cover up a lot of that gnarly stuff there, so I'm not too worried about how that looks. I'm really mainly worried that I can fit this in, and maybe we do have to change the angle of the arm just slightly. If that's there, is that good? Is the shoulder pad going to cover that? Let's see. Yeah, we're going to have to carve out a little bit more room. I don't usually like to do this, but we can trim a little bit of this shoulder off just to buy us a little bit more space. Don't usually like to do that with resin, but if we take off just a little bit, we're not really risking the integrity of the piece, especially at this end. So it can be done. Let's see how that works. I think that's about as good as we're gonna get it here. So let's go ahead and get that attached. Okay, looking good. And I like the silhouette. The upward angle of the arm isn't terrible. I dig it, actually. Visually looks good. The position of that shoulder pad is not ideal. Maybe the arm shouldn't have been at such an upward angle. Rotate it. All right. Well, we'll make it work. That's going to be a lot better. We have to smooth out this little bit of the sleeve and make sure that green stuff to the rescue. And we've got a brand new pack here that we're cracking open. You don't need much. That'll probably do. In fact, that'll probably be more than we need. And we'll loosely kind of fit it over the area where that fabric was before, and then we can stretch and pull and get it into position. And for real simple, like shaping a skewer stick, very effective. It's kind of the right size for making adjustments at this scale. It's not too small, not too large. It can fit into tight spaces. You know, the big ones hurt. Okay, I could poke at that thing all day. Okay, yeah. And you can always wait for it to dry, come back and carve it up a little bit to your liking, which I will probably do, because there's definitely a few spots that probably need a tweak. The beauty of this being green stuff is that the shoulder pad can just straight up stick to that, and now it's on. Yeah, and that's good. We're done. That's nice. Now, to be fair, Mephiston does use a sword, and so I would be remiss if I didn't at least look and see what this would look like if I went with the sword instead of the axe. Oh boy, that is really making me feel a certain way right there. Oh dear. Okay, we're gonna have to delay that decision because I cannot make up my mind. We did have to do a quick little adjustment to get the cape on so that it was under the shoulder pad. This happens to me a lot. What you get, I suppose, for trying to do things kind of in a minimalist sort of way. I don't want to use too much glue, after all. But hey, end product is going to work out as well. All right, now it's time to look at head options. So we've got this guy. We want to really go, lean heavily into the whole Mephiston vibe. It's got the long hair and everything. Probably my favorite is this helmet here. It's got this spiky bits. And I'm a sucker for helmets, so that's probably what I'll go with. Now, I do have some feelings about the chest piece. There's a skull. That's fine. There's going to be skulls all over the place. It's these little, like, flame whips that those don't really feel like they belong. Yep, it's subtle, but it's a little better. Jeez, that sword is really starting to grow on me. All right, we're committed. We'll just have to save this for another time. Last thing is going to be a backpack, which, yeah, we're just going to shamelessly, like, stick right on the back of this. All right, and I've got this backpack with a skull on it, which actually matches Mephiston's pretty closely. It's also got some candles on there, and that's just a bonus. Top's a little rough. We'll cover that up. I mean, you'll see. We'll get to it. All right, so we're looking pretty good so far, but what we need to add are some of those, like, tubes that librarians have. Like, sometimes they have them all over the place, but usually, like, going over their shoulders right where these two discs are. Do I have to trim those off? Am I gonna have to... You know what? I'm going to leave them. I'm going to have the tubes maybe coming out from under those. We'll make it work. For that, I've got some guitar string. This is nothing too special. If you play guitar, you probably have these lying around like I do. If you know somebody who plays guitar, ask them. Like a single string like this. This is an E string, by the way, the low E string. This would last you quite a while. There's quite a bit here, depending on what you're using it for. It's probably easier to bend and shape it before you cut it. Because if you got a little piece, oh man, it's pushing everything around the table. Jeez, what is, oh my gosh, okay. This is a disaster. Okay. Anyway, you do what I said, not what I did. That's a little bit easier to work with. Shouldn't need a whole lot of this stuff, but enough that it can like disappear. I'm talking and you can't even see what I'm doing. In fact, I think we got it right here. All right, cool. Ah, yeah, I like the visual interest of having them a little bit looser. It's also just easier to put them on that way. Now we're gonna break out something I haven't brought out in a while. Let's get some skulls on there. And specifically, I'm looking to add some skulls here to the backpack. I told you we were going to cover up that kind of rough area. All right, so kind of had to call an audible here. I did add 2 of these skulls here with some chain around the backpack. And then I added this like demonic skull. The librarians typically have the librarius shoulder pad, which has that skull with horns on it. So I wanted that to show up somewhere, at least. And then there was no room for the other 2 skulls. So I put them on chains. Anyway, there's maybe 1 or 2 little things here that I've got to tinker with still. But I think the next time you see this guy, he's going to be primed. Okay, so a little bit of an update. The prime didn't go very well. This is after trying to strip it with alcohol, and that, I'm giving up on that. We're not doing that again. Prime was actually pretty decent on the back. On the front, though, it just clumped up in a way that I did not like. Didn't notice it right away. So I got myself some smart strip off of the Zon. Saw this on a video here on the tube, and this stuff is supposed to be like awesome. So I thought we would try it. Ooh, okay, yeah, there we go. That's what I expected. It's kind of got this like paste-like consistency. So in the video I saw, he just dunked it right in. I don't know how I feel about that. It says not to transfer to another container though. So I don't think I'm gonna do that either. Yeah, what the heck? Okay, he's gonna go for a little dip. I mean, that should be good. That should be good. Yeah, we'll check back in a minute. All right, we finally got him primed. I did a little bit of painting on his cloak because I have been itching to get this guy going. Stripping a model is always a lot of work, no matter what you do. But you know what? This made the process a little less painful than just going with straight rubbing alcohol. So I do recommend it. I got it on Amazon because I couldn't find it locally. Everything that I found local that was a comparable product was not safe for use on plastic. I was really worried I was going to lose a lot of detail because, you know, inevitably there's a little bit of paint that you don't get off, but it still turned out pretty well. So all in all, I am happy. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of paint on this guy and wrap up this video. Okay, so I just went on a little side quest here. Let me explain. So obviously you can see this guy's got feathers on his cloak, and I'm like, okay, I've got to figure out how to work the feathers into the design. I mean, pretty easy. Blood angels, right? No big deal. And I'm also in the middle of working on my version of the Sanguinor for my Blood Angels successor chapter. I had been toying with the idea of red wings. I mean, I'm not toying with it anymore. I'm full-on French kissing it. This is freaking awesome. And I just had a cool, like, lore creation moment where I realized, like, these feathers on this guy's cloak could be from the Sanguinor. Like, the Sanguinor shows up in battle, loses a feather or gifts a feather. That's how many times he's been in battle with the Sanguinor. And, you know, cool, fun little lore stuff that you can do when you have a custom successor chapter. All right, we're going freehand here for the finale because I've been working on this guy a lot. He still has quite a ways to go. I will post updates. He's still got some more work, but this is essentially the finished concept here. We're pretty close. We got all the colors pretty much where I want them to be. Overall, he turned out pretty good. I'm not going to complain. And yeah, just ignore all the... the Inquisitors didn't see this. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. And a bunch of paint bottles. Jeez. Man, some models just take it out of you. This guy is incredibly detailed. There's quite a bit of detail I have to go back and you'll notice I haven't even gotten to the sword yet. Quite a bit here that I haven't gotten to, but you know what? You can take your time with a model like this. This is supposed to be a very important character in my army. So, as a noob, it's going to take me a while to get this done. And I've got to get a video out. This video has to go out, you know, on the channel. But it's important to see, I think, like, you know, things happen in stages. And I learned a lot of lessons from this one. For example, doing skulls on chains is kind of a pain in the ass. Also had the custom chapter symbol kind of break on the shoulders, so I'm just going with it, and we're gonna just incorporate that into the design. You know, I'm definitely not happy with the state of the chest piece right now. That's gonna take some more detail. Got to figure out what I'm gonna do there. But I am actually very happy with the cloak. In the back, I came in and dry brushed some Mephiston red on there, and the feathers. I do really like that. Overall, I'm very happy with where the sky is coming along to at this point in time. So I'm going to continue to work on him off camera. Well, I've got you here. Yeah, paperbacks of my book are almost ready. This is the first proof. So by next video, I'll be able to, you know, tell you that they're ready to go. But yeah, this is the book. I actually have a prop now. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, or you felt inspired by this as a noob yourself, subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.